What's up, y'all? It's Cam.
Hey y'all, it's Desinae.
Hey, it's Jada.
Hey, it's Jay, and you're listening to Four Deep, a podcast for four Black women in their 20-somethings who aren't afraid to get deep with it.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at 4DPod. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't want to miss another episode, turn on those post notifications.
Period. And at the end of every episode, let us know on a scale from 1 to 4 how deep we got. Last week, I think we gave it a 4. We gave it a 4.
Yeah,
Somebody gave it a fair 3.
Mm-hmm.
But we welcome it. We love the feedback. We want to hear
Yeah.
we want to hear the depth.
Good.
And so don't forget, you can let us know in our comments, our messages, our Spotify poll, which y'all really have not been
Interacting with.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah, let us know something.
And today, this is something that you might not want to hear, but today we're gonna be your mamas and your aunties telling you, go to the doctor, please. Don't wait until something hurts. Then go to the doctor,
Right?
And we're gonna start it off with that, and then we'll kick it off to Des.
Yeah, so today we got a quad quote. I'm gonna say the quote, and we're gonna go ahead and dig into it a little bit, each of us. So the quote is, "Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity."
Wow.
World Health Organization. And I just feel like people think that just because physically they're okay, or they don't have a disease, or they don't have a illness in which people can see that they're okay. If you're mentally sick, you're sick. And when your mental is not right, you cause chemical imbalances all throughout your body, and your mental is going to affect your physical. Stress kills. Don't forget that. Stress really kills. So you really got to make sure that you're good from the inside out.
Wise words.
I really like how it said, so like I said, physical, mental, and social well-being. And I think that's a really good point too. Like, yeah, your physical and your mental, but even personally, like how you are socially, we don't really consider that as part of like our overall health. And it is very vital. Like we talked about in one of our previous episodes when we said, hanging around our friends, not isolating ourselves, our friends, family, loved ones, whatever, it helps keeps us afloat. And that's because, we're human. We need that social interaction. So I'm happy that it was mentioned, especially from an organization like the World Health Organization, that, social well-being is just as important as, your physical and your mental. Because, as I said, we're human. We need social interaction. We need people. So I like that.
Yeah, I definitely love how they really emphasize that it's all included and it's all connected. Like if one is off, that means something else is off. And it's kind of just like a domino effect. So don't neglect any piece of you, any part of your health, because it's literally just going to like spread onto the next thing, into the next thing. Like a bad apple spoils the bunch. You know what I'm saying? So get your whole bunch to look nice and bright and red and juicy. So, definitely do not take any one of these for granted.
Yeah, real.
I feel like this made me realize how hard the world makes it for you to have wellness. Like if we're talking about physical, mental, social well-being, and not just the absence of disease. Like that's a lot. Exactly. That is a lot coming from somebody in the healthcare field. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but it just does not seem realistic. Like the world don't want you to be well. And so that's why it's important to prioritize it and be well as you can in the many ways that you can within your ability to be well. But yeah, it just makes me think about like environmental factors that we don't have control over. Our food and how it gets from where it's produced to us, we don't have control over that. So there's a lot of things that we're subjected to that cause illnesses in different areas of our lives or unwellness in different areas. So it's just like I'm sorry, I'm such a pessimist, but it just made me think like the world does
No.
not, the world be fighting you at every corner to help to
That's
like,
true.
because you don't have to be well, or you doesn't want you to be well. So that's why looking at it in a holistic sense, I feel like is important, because for the areas that you can't control, it's important to do what you can do to take care of yourself.
100%, 1000%.
Yeah, that's real.
Because looking at this quote, like now that you said that, they're saying that health is the state of complete, like, you know, I don't think there will ever be a time where it's just like complete alignment across the board. And that's the part that's like crazy, because I'm like, okay, thinking about it, I'm like, oh wait, so am I ever really like healthy? Am I ever really like tip top? But you know, doing your best and you know, feeling better than the next day, you know, on each of these things is very, very important. So like, wow, no, we might not always be reaching this level of just like top health. We can't, obviously it's really hard to maintain if we have all these things working against us at this, you know, at this time. Then, you know, we definitely need to make sure that we are at least making like a mark for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Yeah. It also makes me think of a quote that I used to hear when I worked in spaces, that rest, like your rest is you being your rest is resistance. There we go. That's what it was. Because I feel like, you know, back when we were in undergrad, we were very, very active, like just politically on campus and things like that. And so all the times we burned ourselves out behind trying to make sure that people knew what was going on, that they heard us, that they seen us, that we were getting our demands. And so they used to always say, like, rest is revolutionary too. Your rest is resistance too. So choosing to be well in a world that doesn't want you to have access to healthcare, doesn't want you to be well. They want you to take all these medications, and they want you to, you know, all these other things that keep you from being well. You choosing wellness in the ways that you can is active resistance against, you know, all of that.
Rest. And they want to work you to death. Okay. They want to get all the labor out of you that they could possibly get. So take that rest.
Yeah, I was just talking to my coach at work this morning too, and I was just so happy we was on the same page, because we were both talking about how we're all about a work-life balance. And you know, certain careers, certain levels in the job, they take certain things of your life away from you, or you have to sacrifice certain things, or you just live a different lifestyle. Like after a certain level, it's not only are you questioning like your skills when you move to the next point, but you're also questioning like, oh, how is my life going to change when I move to this next point? And so work-life balance is key. Do not let them do not take them days off, babe. Take them off. Please. But yeah,
and y'all know I have to drop in there, you know, there's a spiritual health too. So
hello.
Thanks.
All that can't be, I mean, how you go you gonna get there without the Lord, okay?
Yeah. And it's just the connectedness to a higher something other than you, you know, feeling like you have that attachment to something greater than yourself. It definitely helps with mental health a whole lot. So just had to
I think I haven't been watching much of Pastor Mike Todd, but I feel like he's doing something right now talking about spirituality and going to therapy. I think he's like doing some type of like talk or sermon. I haven't been watching, but I feel like I seen like a clip of it somewhere or something. But I'm like, that's an important conversation for the church to have, because spirituality and mental health go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Facts. You can't just dismiss it or be like, but God will. No, babe. God is telling you to go to therapy.
Because he will, but so should you.
Yeah, it's called prayer plus works.
Yes, like he still will. Yeah, but we have to do the work ourselves as well. He's, you know, he could, you know, but for the most part, we got to be the ones to make them legs move. He's making our legs work. Now just move them. That's literally all
that part. Come on, Jay. Praise, girl.
Like, child.
So that leads us into our quote, because each of us is going to take on a different field of health, and I'm really excited to dig into each of these and to really like give out some of the tips that we have, and each of us are connected to the ones that we're talking about. So I'm also very excited about that aspect as well. So who wants to kick us off?
Since we're talking about mental health, I can kick it off with therapy and psychiatry. And I have not undergone therapy. I do so badly. Once I actually have the resources, that's the first thing I'm knocking on. That's the first door I'm knocking on. But it really connects to me a lot, because I do feel like I've discovered what it really means to heal, at least. And although I may not know exactly how to do it, I know what it means to do it. And I do know, and this is, I guess you can call it a quack, but let's say somebody hurts you, or someone betrays you, or you have some kind of trauma that causes very strong emotions. The only way to truly heal from something is to let yourself feel it wholeheartedly, is to sit there. Like, there's no, running around it, you know what I'm saying? No burying it deep inside. Like, you sit there, you let yourself cry it out. You let yourself feel crazy. You sit there and you feel it wholeheartedly, feel it 100%. You can't get over emotions by avoiding them. You have to just feel them. And me personally, I have literally, there was a time I was in college. I feel like I've told y'all this before, but I had just felt so deeply betrayed, and I was like losing it. I was losing it. And I sat in my room though, because I was thinking to myself, like, but this is something that, like, I truly do not want to let, like, I don't want to let this hinder me. Like, I know, like, I'm hurting right now, but I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel these emotions. Like, I want it to genuinely not bother me anymore. Like, I want to be able to hear about it and it not bother me at all. And I'm thinking, well, how am I going to do that? And it's like, no, you have to sit here and you have to feel all of it right now. If it's ever going to get to a point where you hear about it and you feel nothing, or, you know what I'm saying? You don't
I
feel
love that.
So I sat in my room from night till dark, no TV, no nothing. Like, I'm just sitting there, just reflecting on the situation, letting myself feel all the emotions that came with it. And of course, like, days before that, I was, pushing the emotions away, trying not to feel them, trying to act like I don't care, trying to act like it doesn't bother me. And then I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, but yeah, like, if you heard something about it in a month or so, you gonna be sitting there feeling some type of way. You don't want to be feeling some type of way. So I finally sat there for hours. And coming out of that, I just thought to myself, like, okay, I'm going through the accepting the situation for what it is, accepting the fact that there's nothing I can do to change it. You know what I'm saying? Accepting the emotions that it made me feel, and then not internalizing that, or, blaming myself for it. Kind of just like it has nothing to do with me. To just not take things personal, because what anybody does to you has more to do with them than it does with you.
Hello,
and
that's that.
I genuinely didn't feel no ways about it. Like, I felt healed from it. Like, I had accepted it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was what it was. And also another thing, not even just healing, but just like in mental health, period, when you're dealing with other people, because the only person you can control is yourself. You cannot control other people. So I really want people to know not to take anything personal. The way I think about it is, no matter what somebody does to me, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, oh, I just want to be a fucked up person today, or, oh, I just want to break this person's heart today, or, oh, I'm gonna go out there and be the grimiest, slimiest person. Like, nobody wakes up thinking that. No one thinks that everybody is doing the best that they can. And if you really think about it, you yourself, you're gonna do what's best for you. So everybody else in this world is only doing what's best for them, and you cannot fault them for that, and you just cannot take that personal. And from here, I don't take nothing personal. If something hurts me, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna feel it. I'm not gonna, and I feel like it really helps. It just helps me move past a lot of things. It helps me forgive people, and I feel like it really benefits my mental health.
Yeah. Wow, that was good. And I've used that trick a couple times too. Not really a trick, but that truth, because it's true.
Yeah.
Very true. Like, a lot of times it's projections or insecurities that they're feeling, that they're projected onto other people or anything that happens. And a lot of times too, working at the coffee shop, people will give you some attitude. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna pray for your day, because obviously you're going through something. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just the barista. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it has nothing to do with me. So yeah, that's definitely something that I had to learn, and it does really help. Because if I was internalizing all of that,
that's too much.
Yeah,
It could ruin your day. Now your day is ruined. Now you're having bad days on top of bad days. Now your mental health is about to start plummeting because you feel like you just can't get a good day. Somebody always has to say something to you. Fuck that somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing to do with that. And now your day is going perfectly fine because you didn't internalize any of it.
Went to me.
That was good, Des. That was good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's my little spiel on the psychiatric side. So we can go ahead and, you know, kick it off to our next doctor.
Me.
I was gonna say no doctor.
Like you're literally the next doctor.
Y'all know what it is. If I had to give 3 quacks for just taking care of your oral health and things like that, first one would be to make your appointment. Let's just start there. Just make the appointment.
That's the first step.
It's the most important one. Is to make that appointment. I know people are scared of the dentist. I know people are scared of the cost of the dentist. I know there's a lot of things that go on, but it is so important because there have been so many times where I have had conversations with medical doctors. I have a cousin who works in emergency medicine and she's the head of emergency medicine at her hospital. And she still texts me like, this is going on in somebody's mouth. This is the best I could do for them. I said, you're right, because they have to go to a dentist. Like, nobody knows the head and neck and the oral cavity and the throat and all that more than we do. The closest you can get is a ear, nose, and throat specialist, and they're harder to get into than the dentist. And most times, they send y'all to us. So just make your appointment. There's dental schools if you're worried about cost. You can look up FQHCs, which stands for Federally Qualified Health Centers. You can look up that on Google and it'll like bring up, you know, reduced fee dental offices. You can also search for reduced fee dental offices or free service dental office. Like you can literally Google your way into somewhere that can give you prices based off a sliding scale. If you got a tooth that's bothering you, you don't have to worry about it costing you too much because most of these places will extract your tooth for like $70. And that's without your insurance. So imagine how much a cleaning would cost. Imagine how much, you know, just general x-rays and a comprehensive exam would cost. It's so important to seek out dental care. Like, it's so important. The next thing I would say is just because you don't think you have a problem don't mean that there ain't no problems. Just because you're not feeling pain or sensitivity or just because nothing is bothering you doesn't mean that everything is good. Because most times you won't feel it. I have a patient who came to me and she was like, I can't figure out what's going on, but my back tooth feels like hollow, like it feels weird. Like, I don't know, I can't see it. I don't know what's going on. I go up there and look, there's not much tooth left in there. There wasn't much tooth left. I said, that's why it felt funny because it's gone. But you can't see it. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know what's going on in there. So just because you don't feel anything, just because you don't notice anything, it's important to go. Because if you think about it, there's so many places in your mouth you haven't looked. Like, when's the last time you looked at the roof of your mouth? When's the last time anybody looked at the roof of their mouth? I haven't looked at the roof of my mouth in a while. So it's just important. It's important. And then the third thing, the tip that I could give you is that I've been seeing, obviously, like just what we do is fill cavities often, but a lot of them happen in between the spaces of the teeth. So if I could give anybody a tip, is after you floss, put some toothpaste on your floss and go back in between and just leave the toothpaste there before you go to bed. Really? Because if you got any cavities that are starting to form, but they're still stuck in that outer layer of your tooth, they could be reversed. They could be remineralized by your toothpaste. You won't have a cavity. If they're deeper, it'll arrest the cavity so it won't continue to grow any deeper. So toothpaste is important. Now, I know fluoride. Mixed reviews. But at the end of the day, fluoride does something that many things just can't do. So if you're comfortable using fluoride, please use fluoride toothpaste. If you really don't know why you're not using fluoride toothpaste, use fluoride toothpaste. Now, if you're somebody who's like, no, I've researched it, I don't want to use fluoride toothpaste, then you need to be using hydroxyapatite toothpaste. And Jada, I'll spell out the words so you can put that little edit up there so we can have hydroxyapatite right there, because it's important. Because if there's any other girl who's going to try and do what fluoride does, it's her. And she needs to be in your toothpaste. Other than that, I don't want to see no charcoal. I don't want to see no baking soda. I don't want to see no whitening toothpaste. I don't want to see no no coconut oil toothpaste. I don't want to see none of that. You need to have something that's remineralizing your teeth. That is so important. So important, okay? So those are my little quacks.
You ate them
put me
up.
on.
Yeah. Because baby, I'm about to put some toothpaste on that floss tonight. Okay.
Right, just leave it, just leave it there. Like, we're not like rinsing it out. We're not leaving it there.
Really, you're not supposed to rinse after brushing at all. I don't tell people that though, because I personally can't do it. Like, it makes me gag. Like, I'm physically nauseous if I don't rinse my mouth after brushing my teeth. So it's not easy, but you want the toothpaste to sit there. You do. And so even if you have sensitive teeth, if you notice you have sensitive teeth, smear some toothpaste in there and just let it rock. Okay.
Wow, I didn't know
then.
that. I seen this TikTok and this girl was like, "Oh, these floss picks that have toothpaste on them, they not good for you." And then she had me really questioning my floss. But now I'm like, "Oh, these are okay."
She's saying why? Because if she's saying
I
the
was like, people just be saying stuff.
If it's because she's the fluoride, that's, like I said, there's people who know why they don't use fluoride, and there's people who just like, oh, I heard we shouldn't use fluoride. Look into it. And if I feel like, me personally, it ain't that big of a deal, but I have classmates who are like, no, I don't use fluoride. But I'm like, then what are you telling your patients to use in defense? Because
that part,
they gonna need something.
It's important. They gonna need something. So yeah.
I know. So the blind leading the blind.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, and it's so important. But I actually shout out to her name is Kat. I can't remember her name on TikTok, but she's a D3 at Columbia, and I just happened to find her randomly scrolling through TikTok. So I connected with her. I'm like, you're the only person who like gets like the holistic, but also gets like the traditional side of dentistry too. So her and I, we send things back and forth, research papers and everything that we kind of come across to just help. If we're going to give people alternatives, we need to give some that are back, that show promise. We can't just be saying use coconut oil, because oil pulling, I sat in a whole class last week about like oil pulling and everything. And I was surprised to find out that research doesn't really show any promising results for oil pulling. It doesn't necessarily hurt you, but you don't want to sit up here and say, oh, I started oil pulling to reverse my cavity, or my dentist said I need a root canal, let me start oil pulling. Because at the end of the day, the cavity is still there. And the root canal is usually caused by a cavity, which means you still have a hole in your tooth that needs to be filled in some way, which goes back to point number 2. Just because you don't feel it, just because the symptoms are reversed, it don't mean that it's not still there. You need to, because once you stop oil pulling, what's going to happen? The bacteria is just going to get reactivated. It's just going to do what it was doing before you stopped it. So nothing's a permanent solution.
True. And going from one, what can I say? Like undereducated field of medicine to the next. A lot of people are uneducated about their sexual health, and the number one cause is because of shame. And I'm period because of shame. We throw so much shame on sexual health, and also just kind of like fear, and also just kind of like I just don't want to deal with that. Like, we just rather act like it's not a thing, and it's a thing. It's a big thing, y'all. So my thing is, I used to work in a birth control clinic for about 4 years, and that was actually my first job, and I've seen a lot of stuff from back then, and it really educated me on a lot of good things that I still use till today. And just how we're making our appointments with the doctor to get physicals, just how we're making appointments with our physical health. I meant to say I sound like a starting card trying to talk. My goodness. Geez. Okay, our dentist. Okay, let's just call it out. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We need to be making some appointments with our gynos and with our urologists. Okay, please. It's very important. And I would say, if you are sexually active, please go to the doctor and get tested every 3 months. Like, for real. Like, if you're active every 3 months, just because you're with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your friend, no, you need to still go get tested, because you don't know what they're doing. We all know this thing that comes up called cheating. And, you know, you never know until you know, and you find out. And so also, you know, there's a lot of asymptomatic things that can lie dormant for a long time. So you definitely want to make sure that you are going and getting those checkups. And it takes literally nothing, y'all. Nothing. All you gotta do is pee in a cup. Come on. You do that anyway. You pee in the toilet. Like, you might as well just go pee in a cup, get some good results, and know that you're all good. And then you can, like, you know, go around and be like, I'm clean, you clean, let me see your papers. Ask for them papers. Please ask for them papers. Like, for real. And don't just be trusting people. So getting into not just trusting people blindly, definitely educate yourself about the opposite sex as well. Okay, because men, I know that y'all have been tricked a lot by women who either don't know a lot about it themselves, or who are truly like telling y'all false information that in order to get their way. And I'm not saying that it's always that, but you know, that can be the case sometimes. And so just in order to protect yourselves, please, like, educate yourself about the opposite sex, about what's going on with them, and know their bodies. Because if you're dealing with it, you need to know what it's got going on, and how you can also affect it. Because semen can definitely throw off somebody's pH, and let's just, oh goodness, the whole pH balance thing is a whirlwind. We got a whole episode on just pH balance itself, because like a lot of people are so just unaware of the fact that pH balance can be thrown off like that by literally anything, even by just standing. Like it could be a hormonal thing. It can be something that is like really just normal. You're just doing something very normal, like having sex, and then, you know, like your partner, every time you get a new partner, I've seen in the past where people will get yeast infections every time they change partners, just because their body has to get used to it. And so there's definitely a lot around that. And I know we have a lot of stigmas in this area around sexual health, and, you know, and it's a lot of communication. So we can't be afraid to have those conversations with each other, especially if you're going to be partners. Have those conversations. Be bold about the questions that you're asking. Don't hold back at all, because you have the right to know, because you're protecting yourself and also your future. And you know, don't be afraid, because a lot of these things that are asymptomatic can lie dormant for a while, and they will mess you up like really, really bad if they are prolonged. So you definitely want to be proactive about these things, get on top of them, because they can start spreading to other areas of your body as well. You don't want that to happen. So that's my little spiel. That's my little spiel. And it can be orally too. Come on, Cam. I mean, yes. Come on, Cam.
Facts.
Yes, a lot of diseases that you think are only, you know, vaginal. No, a lot of them can be oral too. So when you go to the doctor, ask them to check your mouth as well, and to do the swab, because they definitely can. And you want to make sure that you know if you have that disease orally or vaginally.
Yeah, we grown. Y'all know what to do.
Yes.
I'm trying to go nose up. We're grown.
Yeah. Oh, and last thing. Sorry. Last thing. Trigger warning. If you do get a sexually transmitted disease, you are not alone. Okay, you're not the first person on earth to get one. It is 100% okay. You put your trust in somebody that put their trust in somebody that put their trust in somebody. Okay. Don't be super angry at the other person because you're insecure at the fact that you got it yourself. You have your hand in it. It takes two people to tango. You didn't ask for the papers. And you know what I'm saying? Like, just make sure that you're not shaming other people, because at the end of the day, you know, it's a very natural thing. Just how somebody can give you the flu or give you the cold, they can give you a sexually transmitted disease as well. So it's not a super abnormal thing. That doesn't mean that you're dirty. It doesn't mean that you're just this disgusting human being. No, you're normal, and it's okay. It's going to be okay. And there's way more people than you know, because people will lie about it and make you feel like you're alone. You're not alone. Like, majority of this human race has had a sexually transmitted disease at least one time in their life. So you're fine.
Yeah. All right. And then next we can move over to primary care. So first things first, I'm gonna just tell you, fix your posture right now, because I know you're not sitting up straight, because I know I wasn't. So let's get that together. No, but it's fine, because I'm a victim. I work at my desk every day and I be slouched over. I've been trying to straighten my back this whole episode and I am in pain. So I'm gonna work on that. But anyways, speaking of, primary care, I think the first thing is to acknowledge that not a lot of us do have access to insurance and things of that sort. But if you do have a job where you have benefits for, going to the doctor, take advantage. Like, you're very privileged to have that. So you need to take advantage of that. And so with that, I would say definitely when you go to the doctor, get them labs. Be like, I want a full round of labs to see where I'm at. See where, where do we start? See where your cholesterol is at, your blood pressure, all that good stuff. Get all of that. And then you can also get checked. You can check off the list for sexual health too. You can get them tests up in there too. But get those labs, because then you'll get a real holistic view of like how your body is doing. A lot of stuff you cannot feel. You don't know if your cholesterol high. It's not telling you, until you start feeling like, something going on. You can't do nothing. And at that point, it's gotten worse. And so get those labs. And then after you get your labs, will bring me to my next step. Do something about that. Like, don't just get them and be like, okay, that's where I am. Dang. No. Look at what you're eating. And this is my third. They just all coming together. Look at what you're eating and then ask your doctor questions. You just booked an appointment with a whole doctor, with a whole profession who went to med school. If you don't ask them questions, I'll be in there ready to go. Like, okay, don't leave, because I got some questions. Ask them, like, what am I supposed to be eating? This is what came back with my labs. What will be healthy for me, like in my day-to-day, like what does breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like? What does it mean to like lower this? What do I need to avoid? What do I need to add more in my diet? Like, ask those questions. And that's what they're there for. And if they're not, I would suggest finding another doctor, because they need to be there to help you. And all of this is coming out of a place where I'm hoping that all of this stuff is accessible for you. But ask those questions. And then to go into the watch what you eat, please, like, you have to be mindful of what you're consuming. That's literally the main thing you're consuming every day: food and water. And majority of it is food. And if you put in junk in your food, how do you think your day-to-day is going to go? How do you think your body's reacting to that? If you don't have no energy, your brain definitely ain't got no energy to work. So now that's your mental health going down the drain, and everything is connected. So if you're not giving your body the nutrients that it needs, it simply cannot function. It's tired. It's working overtime. And don't let flu season come by. Now your body trying to work off of no shame, but let's get into it. Your body trying to work off of Twinkies, fat burger, and milkshakes. Where the nutrients at? You already try to function in your day-to-day, and then you get a cold. Now your body trying to fight off a cold, child. It's not going to work. And so, I think what's really important too is being preventative with things of that sort. And so incorporate things into your routine. I'm all about not going for like a drastic diet. Like, if you eat fast food often, don't start the next week and be like, I'm done. Never again. I ain't touching nothing. First of all,
baby steps.
Let's be real. No, because let's be realistic. Because then you're going to be mad when Friday comes around and you get a burger. Like, you have to be realistic. You could say maybe once a week, because then when you start narrowing it down to once a week, then you can move forward and be like, okay, I'm doing once a week. Maybe I can do every other week now. And eventually you can build onto your habit. But being drastic about it, it's just not really fun. And at the end of the day, we only get one life, so don't be too drastic. You can have a bite of a Twinkie or two, but just, maybe not every night. And so, yes, please take things in portions and watch what you're eating, because also a lot of the times what we're eating is not necessarily because like, ooh, it's good. Trust me, some stuff be good, but also the things we think are nasty, we only think it's nasty because we're not used to it in our palate. Yeah. Just think of it like cultural food. We may eat other cultural foods and not like it because we're not used to it, but that culture loves it because they grew up on it. So sometimes you really just have to adjust your palate to certain things, because stuff really don't be nasty. And also expand your palate. Stop being picky. Try it at least. And so, yeah, those are my little quacks for primary care. We can talk all day, but I hope that any of that resonated with you.
Wait,
It's just
one more related to the
okay.
primary. It's just get an allergen test. I feel like and something that my mom had told me, because you don't find out whether or not you're allergic to something until you consume it or until it touches your body, and then now you're having a reaction, and certain allergic reactions can be fatal. So when you go to the doctor, if they ever ask you, oh, are you allergic to this? Are you allergic to that? Never say no.
Yeah.
Always say, I don't know. Always say, I don't know. Because as soon as you say no, because you've never come in contact with it, and because you really don't know, as soon as you say no, they're no longer liable if they give you any type of prescription that has something that you're allergic in that could be fatal or that could be detrimental or that could really affect your health. But you told them that you weren't allergic. So always say you don't know, because then once you say you don't know, then they have to test you to make sure that it's okay for you to use it first. And I just had to say that because it could be fatal. And always say you don't know, because then they'll have to test you. So or go and just get you an allergy test. Either that or always never say no. If you don't know and you're at the doctor, say you don't know.
Please. It's not a test. It's okay to not know.
Exactly.
It's not a test.
You're not a doctor. You didn't go to school for this. They did.
Right.
You don't know.
Exactly.
And there's so many different things that we could have talked about and that we had planned for this episode. But man, I think we should pack it into another episode, because I'm looking. And we can definitely
really break it up.
We can really break this up. And we didn't even touch on spiritual health. I mean, I know we have a couple episodes about God in our, in our vault of episodes. But I definitely feel like speaking on spiritual health and how it relates to your mental, your physical, your emotional, all of that. I definitely feel like we can touch on all of that. So yes, that will definitely be coming in another episode. So stay tuned.
Yeah, it will actually be our next episode. So really stay tuned. Because I'm not going to play with you.
Stay tuned.
Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
Turn on the notification so you can catch it.
Yeah.
That part.
While it's fresh.
Subscribe.
I feel like we could probably say the last two things on here real quick. Though we did want to address one thing about us as like a generation in the Black community. I feel like we are the ones that's taking the steps to change the narrative around health and wellness. Just like the knowledge that we have surrounding like why Black folks typically don't respond well to being in healthcare environments, and then still choosing to do that anyways, educating ourselves how we can advocate for ourselves in front of our doctors, in front of our dentists, et cetera, having conversations, Twitter threads, getting on TikTok, opening about stuff that people usually don't talk about, so I think like this is a generation that's changing our minds and how we're doing better. Practice wellness. So, which is good. We just got to keep making them strides and them steps. And then we also had some recommendations for things that we felt were supportive. I know an online resource for mental health we wanted to highlight is Therapy for Black Girls. You can find them on Instagram. I'm not sure if there was other. They have a website. I do know that.
Yeah, too. If you Google Therapy for Black Girls, you should be able to find it. And you can find a therapist and an online community. And it was created by a Black woman. She's a doctor. You should look into
Isn't there a podcast? Let me not lie.
It may be. Yeah, they do have a podcast.
Okay. I was about to say, podcast. Where'd I get that from? And one last thing too, while yes, we are the generation that is definitely supposed to be advocating for ourselves, and we're really doing that. I will say though, don't be coming to your doctor thinking you know more than them if you found out about this on Instagram and you did not cross-check your sources and your records.
This is true.
Please, because like they yes, now there's some people that probably shouldn't be holding licenses out there. I do agree. But however, like please, they went to school for this. If they're telling you something, like take it and do something with it, cross-check it and cross-check everything.
Second opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Like and get, like Des said, get a second opinion. You can always do that. You know what I'm saying? But definitely don't be sitting there, like Cam said earlier, if you don't know why you're not using fluoride, don't just be like, well, we're not supposed to use it. Who told you that? TikTok. Okay, well, maybe maybe you should dig into a little bit deeper. Because you know, we don't want to get into like following a lot of like fads and trends that are like for right now, especially around health. So we want to make sure that we're really digging into it and seeing what we really believe and what we know to be truth. And you know, if you're ever feeling any illness, do not use Google as a doctor. Go to the doctor.
Please.
And that's my piece.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, that brings us to a close of this episode of talking about going to the doctor at the end of the day. You need to go, make that appointment, and get it together. Because we would just hate for you to wait until it's too late. Because it happens. Because people postpone.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do it. Just like you was going to go to that restaurant. Just do it. Just do
That
it.
part.
Go to the restaurant after.
Y'all making New Year's resolutions anyway, so this is the perfect time.
Okay.
If you're gonna call
Right.
yourself being in the gym, get the rest of it in line too.
Okay. Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Next week we're going to be talking about the doctor of doctors, the man up there. So let's
Amen.
get into that. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, what are we gonna rate this episode? I would give it a 3.
3 deep.
Yeah, I would give it a 3.
Yeah. I would give it.
I'll give it a 3.
I'll give it 3. I'll give it 2.5. At 2.5.
I was gonna say 2.5
because it was a little bit
after
more
the
like
thought.
factual.
It was surface
Yeah.
level.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did share. That's why I put the 0.5 in there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let us know what you think. What rating you would give this episode?
Yeah, comment below.
Please
Rate on Spotify.
Subscribe. Like, pause for a minute and subscribe. We know you love us. We know you listen, but subscribe.
Double check all them platforms. Just make sure you locked in.
Yes. Okay. Following, subscribe, follow.
All right, y'all.
Yep. We'll see you next week. Yeah.
Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.
If it does it again.